AITA posts. If you don't know what that stands for, it's MI the a-hole. I'm not going to swear on here just in case. But basically on Reddit, people post a situation and ask other people if they are in the wrong or not, basically. And some of the posts you see on there are insane. Some of them may be fake, but who knows? It's Reddit. You don't know what's real or fake. But basically, this is for entertainment purposes and for whispering purposes. Whispering. So, hopefully you can just relax. Also, I cut my hair yesterday following the Brad Mondo butterfly cut tutorial, and I actually love it because I'm a V-cut girly and it worked out really well with the layers. Although I kind of wanted more layers in the back, but I'm not sure which part to section to get that. Anyway, and the more I look at my new hair color, the more I hate it because it's kind of orange, and I think I have been inspired to never go back to the salon again. So yeah. So I've got Reddit in front of me on my laptop, and I'm just going to be reading from there. So just sit back, relax, and decide if you think the person is in the wrong or not. Let me know in the comments what you think. And what is that? See, that's just a random highlight everywhere. Anyways, let's go. So, the first post we have AITA for making my daughter choose a different restaurant for her birthday meal than the one she really wanted. My 39-year-old female daughter so the person is 39 female. My daughter apparently, oh my gosh, let's start that again. My daughter very recently had her 17th birthday. My husband and I told her to pick out a restaurant that she'd like us to take her to for her birthday. She chose a seafood restaurant that we'd never been to. In looking over the menu, I saw that the vast majority of dishes contained shellfish. There were a few fish entrees as well as some surf and turf, but there were only a couple of non-seafood dishes. Our son, who is 15, is deathly allergic to shellfish. He also can't stand fish. There were only a couple of dishes there that he could actually eat. I didn't want to take him there because I knew that he wouldn't really enjoy his meal, and I was worried about cross-contamination. I told my daughter that this restaurant wouldn't work and that she would have to pick out a different one. My son said son offered to stay home. I get that you want to have a family meal, but all you have done is tell your daughter that she is not worth individual celebration. This could have been a great opportunity for you and your husband to have individual time with your 17-year-old, a rare opportunity. Instead, you squandered that, created unnecessary conflict, and possibly formed resentment between your daughter and her brother. So, the overall consensus was YTA. YTA. So everyone thinks this mother is an a-hole. Okay, second friend arrived at 12:30 and we all ordered another round. We left the restaurant at 1:30 and I knew I wasn't able to drive, so we walked around. There was another place doing happy hour and they said they wanted a beer. I went in and asked for water. They bought me a drink too. I drank it and then said I was done. At this point, it was 2:45 and my husband texted asking how much longer I was going to be. I told him truthfully that I wasn't able to drive and had drank more than I intended to. I ended up driving at 5:40 p.m. and got home around 6:15. When I got home, my husband didn't talk to me or look at me. Our 3-year-old was very happy to see me. I was exhausted at this point from the sun and alcohol. I actually dozed off a few times on the couch. Around 9 p.m., I asked him what was wrong. He shook his head. I told him I could tell something was wrong. He said, "You were gone all day, then came home trashed and exhausted." I told him I wasn't trashed. I wouldn't have driven if I was still drunk. He told me I reeked of alcohol. I said yes, because I drank a bit, and when you drink, you're still going to smell a bit like alcohol. He shook his head again and hasn't said anything to me since. It's 11:30 p.m. and I want to go to sleep, but I can't because he's still in the living room ignoring me, and I can't fall asleep with him like this. Aita. I could have not had that last drink and been home an hour or so earlier, but I was celebrating my birthday and now I feel like an a-hole. Edit. I see many people are a little confused on a few points. It wasn't my actual birthday. My husband, child, and I celebrated on my actual birthday and he knew about the brunch weeks in advance. I texted him at 11:15 to let him know both my friends were running late. I also texted him around 4 o'clock to let him know I was still drinking water and unable to drive. 4 drinks in 7 hours does not mean I was trashed or drunk. Could I have waited another hour? Maybe, but I could tell around 5 o'clock that the buzz had gone away, and I waited another 45 minutes to actually get behind the wheel. I am confident that if I had been pulled over, I would have passed a breathalyzer. I probably smelled more of alcohol because of the drink one of my friends accidentally spilled on herself and a little on me. He and I talked last night and he told me the reason he was most upset is because he was worried for my safety, and he also would have taken our 3-year-old out somewhere if he'd known I was going to be out all day. He said he felt like just waiting around all day. I apologized for drinking as much, especially the last drink. I should have said no or discreetly dumped it, but I was intoxicated and made a bad judgment call. Both of us admitted we should have communicated our feelings and plans better. So it looks like some of the people in the comments must have been upset that she was driving after drinking, which, yeah, don't do that. So, let's look at some of the comments. YTA, you said you were having brunch and showed up home too drunk. Oh wow, that's my... and showed up... Start again. YTA, you said you were having brunch and showed up home too drunk to drive after 6 p.m. And you are wondering why he is annoyed with you. Brunch is between breakfast and still early evening when she got home. She was gone from home for 7 hours, and that's it. Celebrating her birthday. How in the world does that make her an a-hole? And how is giving your partner the silent treatment and being a pouty baby and not communicating with them when they are communicating clearly with you not an a-hole move? Y'all are wild. Okay, so half of the comments seem to be NTA and half of them are YTA. So, what do you think? I am not sure. Another NTA. Your kid was safe with his other parent and your husband is a grown man. This sub just can't stand the idea of a mom still being a person and having a little fun. Your husband would maybe have reason to be annoyed if this was a regular thing, but it isn't. Another YTA. You didn't keep him updated and basically left him in the dark. You replied to one text, but that still didn't give him any indication of when you'd be home. Plus, brunch does not last that long. You're an adult. You should know how to manage your time, be responsible and communicate. You owe your husband an apology. So, it looks like most people said YTA, but a lot of people are also saying NTA, so I think the divide is quite 50-50. So I will leave it there with those 3 posts and possibly film another one of these with some updated ones a little bit later, because this is actually kind of fun. Usually when I go through Reddit posts on this subreddit, I kind of just skim through, so actually reading them kind of gets you more involved in the situation and thinking about what you would do and what your opinion is. So let me know your opinions on those 3 posts, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Hello. Welcome back to my channel. Lovely to see you here. I just filmed 10 minutes of this video before I realized I had not actually started recording the microphone. I was only recording the video. So that is just absolutely lovely. So here I am again. I am just very glad that it was only 10 minutes and not 1 hour, as I have done before. So today we are going to be reading some Am I the A-hole posts again, because you seem to enjoy them last time. They are some of the new ones, so let's get straight into it. So the first one. Am I the a-hole for getting into an argument with my parents after they expected my husband to pay for dinner? A little backstory. My parents have helped us financially for our home, amongst gifting us countless times. We don't ask for this, though my husband and I do appreciate it, and I make an effort to treat them out when they come over. So my parents came over to visit for a weekend, and my husband suggested we check out a pub restaurant. When it was time to pay the bill, I offered to pay to treat everyone. so I don't have to pay for him. Anyway, I told him it's on me, and I paid. When my parents returned, I got a phone call from my mom saying how she expected my husband to pay for all of us, considering he suggested the place, and that he should be grateful for how they have supported us and how they have done things for him. I immediately got angry and asked why that was expected of him, as he is not their child and obviously can't read their minds. Now they're just trying to twist the story and say that they were just confused why he was going to pay for himself. So, am I the a-hole? So, the comment says, your husband is the a-hole for inviting everyone and not paying for them. He is additionally the a-hole for offering to pay for himself. So, quote, you don't have to pay for him. What kind of marriage is this where you keep all your money separate like that? I don't think it's that weird to have like a separate bank accounts if you're married, because not everyone has to have joint accounts, but I guess it would be kind of weird if you invited people somewhere and then, or invited family somewhere and made them all pay. But also, I don't think it's that weird. I don't know, maybe that's just me. Next comment says, this is weird. It's fine if the two of you keep separate finances, but it's weird to go out with other people and do what you did. You offered to pay and then he was going to pay for himself. It shouldn't matter to your parents who paid. They didn't have to. But how you and your husband handled it created a weird vibe. I guess it is weird if you go out with your husband and he's like, I'll pay for my own meal. You don't have to worry about it. Because like, for me and my partner we have our own separate accounts, and then we have a joint account. So we just use the joint account whenever we go out for dinner or whatever. So, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna read a different one than what I did the first time so I don't get bored. Okay. Am I the a-hole for not going to my stepdaughter's birthday because they disinvited my son? My fiancé and I have been together for 5, going on 6 years. I was there for him for his drug addiction and raised his daughter while he was in jail and homeless and in rehab. Wow. I have a son from a previous relationship and we have a son together. This last weekend was his daughter's 13th birthday, and the day before, he messaged me to say that his daughter doesn't want my son at her birthday because her boyfriend is coming. My son and her boyfriend get along very well, and she feels like she will be left out. So I messaged my fiancé and said I would stop by and give her her gift, but I'm not staying as my son was excited about seeing his sister on her birthday, and he was sad that he wasn't invited anymore. My fiancé then got angry that I was making a huge deal out of it, saying she's allowed to have whoever she wants at her birthday, which I agree. She has every right, just as I have every right to show up because my son was upset about being uninvited. He knows I will always have his back. His mom called me to find out what was happening, and I told her what he had said. She told me that his daughter never said that she didn't want her brother there, and that we must come, but I said no because my son was upset. I did not tell my son that my fiancé was the person who uninvited him, but he figured it out and asked me if it was my fiancé, not his sister, who didn't want him around. I ended up taking my son to the movies in the arcade babysitter at the mall. He decided he didn't want to stay any longer and we left. Am I the a-hole for being upset about this whole situation? Wow, that was very confusing. I have no idea what just happened. Her fiancé uninvited her son from his daughter's birthday party and then said his daughter did it. Why did he? Anyway, let's look at the comments. Oh, they were thinking the same thing as me. NTA. Why did your fiancé not want your son at the party? That's what I was wondering. Why did your fiancé lie and blame his daughter for disinviting him? Why did your fiancé want to exclude your son and get mad when you had his back? These are questions that I would need my fiancé to answer to my face. Then I would seriously consider if I wanted a relationship with a man like that. From reading the first paragraph alone, it sounds like you are completely done with this man to begin with, and that this episode was your wit's end. It is easier to end an engagement than it is to end a marriage. I am proud that you had your son's back, but it seems like your fiancé has growing up to do. Wow. Yeah, that is really weird. I don't think I would want to marry someone like that. Then another commenter said, if the fiancé is already lying to you, I suggest you seriously rethink marrying him. I'll give you another reason. He has no respect for your son, which is another red flag. That is, yeah, basically everyone in the comments is like, why are you going to get married to this guy who doesn't even like your son? Even though you like raised his children while he was in jail and whatever. Yeah. Just be careful about who you marry, guys, because it's hard to get out of once you're in there. Okay, let's find another one. Okay, little short one. AITA for not letting my aunt and her family in my house. I am female, 34 years old, living in a 2-story house with my husband that has 2 bedrooms. A couple of months ago, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and my aunt from another state was informed about my sickness, so she wanted to visit me. During these months, I was terribly sick and bedridden, so I couldn't clean the house. My husband couldn't clean because he was accompanying me in the hospital and at the same time had to go to work. My aunt wanted to bring her son and 2 grandchildren and asked if they could stay in my house. I turned her down because the house was uninhabitable. Uninhabitable, is that a word? Uninhabitable. And I didn't want them to just sleep on the couches. She got upset and blocked me on social media. She later on said there's nothing to do on my side of town anyway. I was like, I thought her purpose was to visit me. Before I even read the comments, that did she say it was her aunt? Her aunt. How old is she that she's acting so immature, like blocking her on social media and then saying there's nothing to do on your side of town anyway? Oh my god. That is just horrible. Okay, the comments say NTA. The fact that they blocked you just means that they had ulterior motives and you did the right thing. Sounds right. Your priority is your health, not being her host. A normal aunt would volunteer to help clean up the place and take care of you, not trample on your boundaries with 4 guests. Wait, guests are people you invite, right? so they're just traveling merchants. Yeah, then the OP added, I feel like she just wants free accommodation and used me as an excuse so she and her family can have a vacation. It's disappointing. Thank you. I'm so sorry for people who have family like this that pretend to care about you and they don't actually. Okay, let's do one more and we'll wrap it up. Let's do a little short video. A little short video. Okay, another one about a house. AITA for kicking my broke parents out of the house. I'm 20 years old and live in a 2-room apartment. One of those rooms is my room and the other one is the kitchen/main room. Since my parents lost their jobs last year, I offered for them to stay in my apartment until they found another job. My parents sleep on the floor of the kitchen/main room. When my parents and I finish up with dinner, we socialize for a couple hours and then head off to bed. My parents usually go to sleep at around 10:30 to 10:45, while I usually stay up until 12:15. My dad keeps complaining about how my TV is too loud even though it's at 15 volume. I thought this was rather odd, but I complied with him and turned it down to about 5 volume. He still kept complaining and I kept telling him back that it wasn't that loud. I went over to where they slept, laid down and couldn't hear a thing, just the slightest of mumbling. His bright idea was to unplug my router and not give it back, even in the morning or after work. I told him it's my house and I bought that router and the Wi-Fi here. You have no right of taking it from me. He responded back with, I am your father, I control this house, which is obviously not true because I own the damn place. My mom didn't help me out, she made it worse. She was defending my father and pushing me whenever I tried to take it from him. This had been going on for about 3 days already and I decided to kick them both out. I told them to pack their stuff and go, but both of them said that they had full authority over me, that I can't kick them out because I'm still their child. I called the cops on them and got them trespassed from my apartment complex. I don't think that's how you use the word trespass, but okay, I know what you mean. Over the past couple days, they've been texting me of how selfish I am and how oversensitive I am about everything. Is this true? My opinion before I read the comments, those parents be crazy because you're not just in control of your children just because you're their parents, especially if they're letting you stay in their house after you lost your job. Okay, like you should be obeying their own house rules. Like what the heck? Okay, comment. NTA sounds like an all-around awful situation. You were kind to take your parents in for so long. Their insistence that they have the right to control you and your property is simply unacceptable. You're not a child and they shouldn't be treating you like one. It's unfortunate that it came to a breaking point and it's really sad that you felt you had to trespass them from your apartment. I guess that is how you use that word. Okay, I'm just stupid. I don't think you're an a-hole for wanting to have autonomy and control in your own home. I do think it's really sad that it all went down so horribly, but they really created that by behaving so poorly. Hang in there, OP. Yeah, I agree. Have your parents been huge a-holes the rest of your life too? Might be time to go no contact with them, NTA. your parents doesn't mean anything. You're not beholden to anyone solely because they birthed you or share blood. Then the opposite, they're gonna think about it, they're gonna reflect on it, and yeah, their full assessment was not the a-hole, so that's good. I think it's really sad that someone like that might think they're doing the wrong thing, even though it's their house and they have a say of everything that happens there. Anyway, we will end the video there. If you liked this video, please press the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to join the Taro Bunzo family. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye. Hello. I'm just sitting here with my squishmallow. Today I'm going to be doing another MIDAO video, but I'm also going to be mixing it up a little bit and adding a relationships edition, because I do also see some crazy posts in there. So let's just get started, shall we? I'm just going to have this here for comfort. So, am I the a-hole for warning my brother's fiance her wedding dress might cause problems? My brother is getting married soon and his fiance chose a very revealing wedding dress. It's low cut with a thigh-high slit and a sheer back. I'm all for people wearing what they want, but our family is quite conservative and opinionated, and I know this dress will cause a lot of drama, especially with our grandparents. Talking people walking out on the wedding kind of drama. At a family dinner, I pulled her aside and gently suggested she might want to reconsider her choice, explaining the likely reactions from our older relatives. I made sure to clarify that I absolutely respect it's her choice and her special day, but wanted to at least warn her of what could happen. She got very upset and said it's her wedding and she'll wear whatever she wants. My brother is now mad at me, accusing me of trying to control their wedding. Some of my family members think I was just looking out for her, while others say I overstepped. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother's fiance her wedding dress might be inappropriate for our conservative family? So I know that this person was judged as the a-hole, but even without looking at the comments, I can tell they're going to be like, why are you trying to tell a bride what to wear on a wedding day? That's crazy. It's their wedding, they can do whatever they want, but let's have a look at what some of the comments say. Gentle, you're the a-hole. The time to mention it would have been before she went shopping, and even then, remember that it's just your guess that your grandparents will embarrass themselves by huffing out in front of everyone because of a dress. If she already picked out the dress, she's likely both emotionally and financially quite invested in it. This is not something she can easily change. It does sound a bit controlling to come to her now after she's found the dress she loves to tell her she made the wrong choice. Let's see one other comment, if they are gentle or not gentle. Sarah has an accomplishment. Today, Sarah told us that she is going on a cruise for her vacation this year. Kelly always wanted to go on a cruise and couldn't afford it with her weighted job. In the car, she blew up saying that Sarah was a loser in high school, so it isn't fair that she has all this now. She went on for a bit when I had enough. I told her that life isn't like high school, and if it was, she was the loser now. This started an argument and she called me a bitch. Interesting. So she was basically actually just defending her other daughter. Wow, those birds are loud as usual. First comment says NTA, not the AO. While it's never good to call your child a loser, you were using the word she used for her sister, and in a conditional manner, so I'll give that a pass. I think it's probably closer to the truth that Sarah was never a loser. She was just playing a different game. She did what she was interested in, had close friends, and probably never wanted to be popular. Research has shown that siblings intentionally differentiate themselves from each other. I had 5 siblings and we were all very different. My closest brother, only 14 months older, was on the chess club in high school. I could never beat him at home, so I never joined. In this case, since Kelly was older and liked sports, Sarah could never be as good as Kelly in sports, so she chose to focus on classwork. Kelly was a favorite with the coaches and Sarah with the teachers. Okay, so then the second comment says Auntie-A. She's acting like a loser who peaked in high school and equates everything back to high school. You clearly put things into perspective in a way that she can understand, and she did not like it. Did she think being cool and good at a sport that she no longer plays would get her through life? Yes, okay, so I think most people think that the mother in this situation is an NTA. There is someone outside who keeps revving that motorbike and is not going anywhere, and I just cannot deal. Sorry if you can hear something like that in the background. Something like that in the background. So now we will head over to the two relationships posts, which they're kind of similar to Am I the A-hole, so I don't know. Hope you enjoy this one too. Okay, so this post says, my BF said him or the dogs. Hi, I'm a 26-year-old female dating a 33-year-old male. We've been seeing each other since July, so almost a year now. I love him. I love his daughter, his family, his friends. However, he hates my dogs. They're not even bad. They are fully potty trained, don't chew on items. They don't whine or yap inside. I don't make him feed them, take them out, deal with anything dog related. I genuinely just don't think he likes dogs. However, I had them when he met me. Not everyone is a dog person, I get that. But I think it's unfair he met me having 2 dogs. Granted, I live in a small apartment. I shouldn't have 2 dogs, really. being unreasonable. I think they mean, have you dated someone you love with a dog, not with a dog that you love. So obviously this one doesn't have a judgment like am I the a-hole or not, but people post their opinions. So the first comment says, you can't win. You want to stay with the dogs. If you have to get rid of the dogs, you will resent him. Either way, the relationship is doomed. Well, that's very sad. Someone's like, the dogs won't wake up one day and tell you they don't love you anymore. The dogs love you way more than he does. Then the second comment says, I dislike dogs a lot. I could never live with a dog, let alone multiple. You know what I do? I bring it up on the first date. I ask if they like dogs, if they want dogs in the future. When we establish an exclusive relationship, I make it very clear that I will never tolerate living with a dog. It's not fair that he waited and asked you now. He knew you had them and he shouldn't have dated you knowing he wasn't okay with them. I'm sorry, OB, but this relationship is unfortunately over. Please choose your dogs. So, everyone's basically like, please choose the dogs because your boyfriend doesn't love you. And second of all, how do you not like dogs? Do any of you not like dogs? Because that's crazy. That is crazy. I love dogs and cats and horses and everything. Okay, I read this post the other day and I was like, what the heck? So I'm going to read this one to you. Right? So, boyfriend wants me to wake up at the same time as him. So I, 24 female, have a boyfriend, 25 male, that lives an hour and 45 minutes away, in the same state as me. We've been dating for 2 years now and we're both in college, so we aren't living together, separate colleges, and neither of us live on campus. We spend every waking moment of every day on FaceTime with each other, which is already strange. But recently he's been telling me I need to be up by 8 in the morning because that's how it will be when we're married. He goes to bed earlier than me, usually between 9 to 12 depending on the day, and he's ADHD, which I also have. And I tend to go to bed around 2 to 3 because I feel like that's the only time I really get to myself and I can get some things done that I wasn't able to during the day. Well, he's been telling me lately about how he's worried that me sleeping too much, I get 7 hours most nights, 9 when I really need it, will cause us to split apart. During the summer, and me being more of a night owl, I might even go to bed at 4 a.m. But he gets mad at me if I sleep until noon, and has told me a couple times that if I continue to do this to him, he's afraid that he'll break up with me. I'm not entirely sure of what to do, and we've talked about it a few times, but I don't think he understands that he may be able to go to bed at 12 and wake up at 5, but other people, such as me, cannot do that. Am I in the wrong, or does he have a point that I need to wake up by 8? I just think this post is crazy. Like, imagine getting married and your husband or wife is like, you need to wake up at exactly the same time as me. Like, bro. No. No, thank you. Okay, so let's look at the comments. The first comment says, threatening to break up with you if you don't follow his sleep schedule is extremely weird and controlling. It is weird that he doesn't see how bad that is. You are not his child. It is a huge red flag. What else is he going to try to control? Answer is somewhere between a lot to everything. People need some autonomy in relationships. Maybe separate from him a little and get your head together about how he is trying to control you. Okay, next. organize your sleep schedule and can't even handle 4 hours without you while you're sleeping. That's wild. Then, one of the first red flags in my abusive marriage was that my partner needed to control my sleep. Eventually, if I stayed up later than him, he was peeved, and any fault I'd make the next day was because I was irresponsible and up late. I couldn't sleep in past him, or I was lazy, and anything that didn't get done was my fault. We had 4 kids and 5 years, and he never helped, not during the day or overnight. Oh, that's sad. That is sad. And then there were some updates on the post from the original poster. So the last update says, "We broke up. I'm sorry if I made any of you mad or have secondhand embarrassment because of my comments and confusion." I don't know what that's about. It's just being a young adult with autism, which I only found out about last year. I don't have what you would consider normal growing up experiences, like dating in high school. He was my first boyfriend. I met him 2 years ago. But I want to thank everyone who told me that what was going on wouldn't be good for either of us, and that we need to go our separate ways. I think both of us need time to grow as people and mature a bit more. I don't know if he'll get the help he needs, but I'm not going to deal with it anymore. Good on you, girl. Were you a girl? Yes, good on you, girl. So anyone, if you are in a relationship where your partner tries to control your sleeping schedule, please know that is not normal and you need to get out, because that is crazy. Also, an additional comment on this post, which is just in general, I really hate that the world is based on early risers, especially in Australia, because for me, I am more of a night owl. I have extreme trouble waking up early every day. When I have to wake up for work, I'm so tired, and I just love nighttime. I feel more awake and energetic, and it's nice and quiet, and it feels like you actually have time to relax. So as a night owl who has seen how the world is catered to early risers, I really hate that. Like, does my mouth look crooked, or is that just me? If I wanna do something at night in Australia, everything is closed already. It's so sad. And yeah, the fact that work usually starts at 9 or 8 or sometimes even 7 is disgusting. And yeah, luckily my work is flexible and I can start at whatever reasonable time I want. So I could start at 10 a.m. if I wanted to and work until 6 p.m. Which I have done on days where I find it really hard to wake up. So I think that is good. But yeah, I used to have a job where I worked from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. just a part-time job, and it was so good because I could sleep in and do whatever I wanted during the day and then go to work and not feel like I wasn't scared of the next day because I wasn't going to work straight away. But that was back when I was a uni student and did not have too many things to worry about, so yeah. Anyway, so that was today's AITA and relationship posts. Let me know if you liked hearing about conversation until I got home, which was 20 minutes. He then replied with, "How are you making this my problem? What if I hadn't answered the phone?" I may have raised my voice at that point, but looking back, am I the a-hole? Did I overreact? I do not really understand this post. Is she saying she called her boyfriend while she was driving home because he was issues with like thinking everyone should finish all the food in front of them. But that's why we have so many food issues these days, I think. So I really don't like it when parents make their kids eat all the food in front of them. I know where it comes from, and my family was like that. And yeah, let's just say I have food issues now, so I think having a takeaway box for what you couldn't finish is fine, in my opinion. It's not like you're paying for it and it's going to waste unless he just goes home